Welcome to Social Work Sunday Tea. I am Shakia Houston. It is February 7, 2021. It's a great honor and a privilege to be in the land of the living. And also it's Black History Month. So it's a great month. And also it's Super Bowl Sunday. Come on, Kansas City. We have some amazing special guests here on Social Work Sunday Tea. It has been an honor, and I've been in their DM like, hey, can you do this? How you doing? I'm Shakia. So I just wanted to say thank you publicly, and before we even start, thank you. It's just an honor and a privilege for you to be on Social Work Sunday Tea. Do quick announcements real quick, and then everybody can introduce themselves. And it doesn't matter what orders, but ladies come first. All right. So, yeah, I got tea. I'm selling tea. I'm doing like the Social Work Sunday Tea. So I'm selling tea. I like it. And then I got me some mugs. So if anybody wants some tea, let me know. Okay. So that's my little plug in. But yeah, if you want to introduce yourself and let's get started. Miss Chapman.
Yes.
You can go first.
All right. Well, thank you. Again, my name is Shantoya Chapman. I am a licensed clinical social worker located in Georgia. So I'm a Georgia peach. And also I am licensed in Georgia as well as South Carolina. Have my own private practice. Have been a social worker now 10 years. 10 years. Time, I'm going to tell you, time flies, right? Yes. But I've always been a person that believes in helping people. So I've been helping people for years. So it's like 20 plus.
Right.
I grew up helping people. That was something that I guess I was groomed for by my grandmother. So without this, without her, I don't know if I would have this platform today. So enough about me.
All righty.
Well, I am Lita Cristina Bolden. I am originally from the Republic of Panama, beautiful Panama. So I'm a bilingual licensed professional counselor. I do therapy in Spanish and in English. I have my own practice. It's called Shining Lights Counseling. And so I've been doing therapy for around 8 years now. And I love it. I know it's cliche to say we love helping people, but I doubt we'll be in this profession if we didn't have a passion for helping others in their struggles and whatever is going on with them. So, yes, that's me.
All righty. Mr. Dane.
Damon Alvinger. I'm a licensed master social worker. I've been doing this 11 years. On my social media, I say I'm a life coach, not life coach, social emotional coach, because I can't practice as a social worker because I don't have that clinical license yet. I don't talk about myself that much, so you gotta forgive me. I'm a transformative mentor. I work with adolescents with criminal justice history, and I love what I do. I stumbled into this field, and it so happens I'm good at it, and I love helping people.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you guys. Look at that. I'm a social worker as well. I work for the geriatric population and work with mental illness as well. I've been doing that It marked 7 years. So I didn't want to be a social worker either. I'm like, I want to be a police officer. I keep saying that, but then I got up in the field and I was like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. Then I was like, oh, okay, I don't want to do this no more. Then I did it again. I kept going back and kept doing it. So yeah, but it's a blessing to be a blessing to other people. So
Exactly.
we're here for a reason. We're here to, help promote, healing and all that good stuff. So like I said before, it's for the culture, it's for the people. So it's all for the people for me. So today's topic is we're talking about mama's boys. Mama's boys.
Yes.
I wanted to talk about this because a lot of people in your family, somebody, a cousin, a friend, somebody that's dealing with a mama's boy. So we need to talk about this thing. So in the Urban Dictionary, mama's boy, it says a male who is overly dependent on their mother in adulthood. This can lead to things such as grown men letting their mother make decisions for them. Come on, computer. For him, despite the fact that he's old enough to make decisions for himself. He also let his mother order him around with no disapproval. This can be a bad effect on relationships and can be the driving force to breaking up, as his girlfriend can grow tired of him letting his mama control his life. This type of mama's boy tends to be looked down upon by society. That's what the Urban Dictionary said. So what is that's what the Urban Dictionary said. So what is your take on mama's boys? What are your views on mama's boys? Your personal views on it?
I think there's two extremes. There's a good mama's boy, and then there's a toxic mama's boy.
Right.
Because I think there's a lot of guys that have great relationships with their mothers. They get along with them, and they learn. And some guys, research even says that boys that grow up really close to their mother grow up to have healthier relationships in the future in their marriages and when they're dating. Yeah. So because they learn how to be empathetic, how to just learn how to read women better, things of that nature. So it can turn out well. But then there's the toxic mama's boy, which I think we're concentrating on today, right? And is the ones that cannot make decisions for themselves. They have their mom rules their life. They don't want to let go.
Yeah, Shantoya.
And hey, my sister said it very clear, and she's right. I think what the issue is, the boundaries are not there. And so mom thinks she should be priority. Yeah. In her son's life. And I've witnessed this myself personally. I've dated a mama's boy in the past. Okay. Like I said, I have people like that in my family. And the problem is mom does not understand her order, where she lies in her son's in her son's life. So she wanted to be number one. And she would make that known. She would create havoc for any woman that she feels doesn't measure up to what she thinks her son deserves. Yeah. So it's just that unhealthy connection. And sometimes we have to look at the attachment. Because again, like you said, there are some, relationships that are developed at childhood, as a child with a mother and a son that is healthy and is nurturing. But then you also have parent, especially single parent homes, and I don't want to go too far in that, but that makes a difference. Yeah. It does. And but when you're raised in a home where the mother feel like the son should be the man of the house, which I know that's something we're going to go into, the man of the house, that's when we start to see these issues start to occur, because she's trying to make her son her man or her idea of what a man should be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
So
we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. We gotta get Damon. Damon, what is your views on as in a male perspective as far as mama's boys?
Like the lady said it best. There's layers to it. I'm a mama's boy. I say and tell you no lie. But my mother can't and has never interfered in any of my relationships. I love my mother to death. But there's levels to this. My mother is my mother. I only will have only one.
Right.
My relationships, I may have several through the years, but there's no one who's going to replace my mother. And I don't allow. My mother taught me how to treat a woman, and how I treat my mother. I treat every woman the same, and I have respect for women. So my boundaries were set properly. I don't have an enmeshed relationship with my mother. You know, she understands who I am, and as a man, she allowed me to be a man. So she doesn't interfere in certain aspects. Like single parent household, and she allowed me to bump my head and make my mistakes. She defended me, but she always told me when I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of mama boys, their mama never told me, "Oh, that's my baby." Like Shantoya said, "Oh, you can't. That's little man. Let little man be. He's just going through something." No, he's going through a whole lot. You have to check him out before it becomes. It's cute now, but it's really bad behavior as he gets older.
Correct.
So it's like the boundary levels and boundary lines have to be set early before it becomes really toxic and really, really bad. I'm sorry you ladies had bad experiences with the mama boys that y'all dated. But all mama boys aren't created equal. I'll say that
That's true.
No, I agree.
That's true. That's true.
Well, this
That's
is
true.
a disclaimer. You know, we're not homing in or bashing mama's boy. We're just trying to heal and so people can identify what this is. So they can separate the two, and also to create boundaries within their relationships with a mama's boy. Like, hey, open their eyes to see this is what's going on. Like, hey, I know that's your mom, but let me, tell you a little something. Like,
and you catch it early, but you choose not to. You catch the signs. Like, you don't even have to wait for a red flag. You catch the yellow flag, but you still got to run through it.
Yes.
Because they're a little cute and they spend a little couple of dollars on you, so you try to overlook that. No, that behavior is letting you know early that it doesn't get any better.
Yeah,
exactly.
So, it sure does it.
Yeah, so like in your I understand that you said that in your household, single parent, mom raising you. What was that structure like in the boundaries? I know that you spoke on it, but like Shantoya said, the growing up childhood that develops and structure, that's like the foundation of everything, like how we move, how we and also observational learning from our parents. And we see our our mothers and our fathers, how they interact with each other and things like that. So in a since you said you're a mama's boy,
yes.
What was that structure like? I want to know. I want to like dive in.
No, I'll give it to you. I had a stepfather and a father, but my mother was the dominant personality, and it's like that's just what it is. And I was more afraid of disappointing my mother than anything. And it's like she gave me beatings, but it got to the point like maybe about 14, 15, it didn't hurt no longer. But she knew how to break me down. Punishment was worse to me than anything else in the world. Because, okay, you're not going nowhere for a couple of days. Oh, that's the worst thing in the world. So she knew how to get me and discipline me without having to be over the top with it. And she, I worked really hard. I'll say I worked 6 days a week, 3 jobs, 4 jobs, sometimes like that. I got my work ethic from my mother. Mm-hmm. I watched my mother get up every day, go to work, call in sick or nothing like that. And I said, I'm gonna have to outwork her. Mm-hmm. She gave me the guidelines for who I had to be. I had to be better than my mother. Right. It's like, so she taught me how to be a man without being too much. She still was my mother. She didn't cross that line where she was rough and extra like that, but she showed me the way of how to be, and she told me how to be a parent. Mm-hmm. And she showed me how to love. Mm-hmm. So I was like this, and then this is the part where I always wanted to protect my mother, and like I would and that's where the boundary lines holding it back. I was fortunate where I didn't have to physically protect my mother. I've protected her heart by my behavior and what I've done and who I became. But it was just, I always wanted to make my mother proud. Anything I've ever done is based on who my mother was to push me to become who I am. It's nothing to do, like I said, I might have been me, but it was all to protect, to make my mother proud. Anything I do, I say, oh, for my mother, it's for my mother. And that's always who it would be. So that's how it worked in my household. It might not work like that for everybody else's house. So I only can speak for apartment 9K. So I know what. I ramble sometimes.
No. You did. You answered. You told us about the childhood, the structure, how, and it was. That's pretty amazing. For you said, "Oh, I need to go harder than my mom." Like,
yeah.
You know,
That's
like,
powerful.
Yeah, because in some single parent households, the mother does everything, and you look at your mother and you're like, so. And I didn't have this problem. There's a man on the couch taking money out of my pocket, food out the house, and drinking up all your juicy juice. And I said, that would never be me. And I would never do that to another woman. I've dated women, and I'm like, I tell a girl in a minute, you got kids, I can never take money from you. And I was like, what kind of man would I be? So I would go extra hard. And then I would watch other single parents in my family, and I would see the model. I would look at the behavior the men would be towards the mothers. And I'm like, okay. So, and then being the oldest, I would have to model different behaviors. So sometimes my behavior wasn't always the best. And so my younger cousins picked up a lot of bad behaviors because of me. But I always try to model the right behavior so they can understand and learn. This is how you treat women. This is what you do. This is how you do it. But that all falls back to Mrs. Abinger, my mother.
That's right.
That's amazing. That was real good. So real quick, I'm gonna give what anybody can jump in and chime in. What are some of the signs that you're dating, ladies? What are some of the signs that you're dating a mama's boy? Either way,
there's a lot of them.
Hell yeah.
A big one will be he has to check his mom before any decision he makes. Like any little thing, and it could be a big decision or a small decision. He has to like, Mom, what do you think?
Yeah.
And he only goes by what his mom says. It's not even like he just asking for her opinion. There's a difference, right? Because you know, there's nothing wrong with asking your parent, especially if they're very knowledgeable what you're making a decision about, and you're like, what's your opinion about it? But at the end of the day, you still make your own decision on the situation. Mama's boys, if their mom say, you know, they ask their mom about anything, that's what they're gonna do, whatever mom says, you know. And another sign is they try to avoid disappointing their mom by all costs, but to the extreme.
Yeah.
So even if their mom tells them to do something that in their heart they really want to do, they will not do it because the mom said no. You know, and it's just extreme measures of not making decisions for themselves, not taken full responsibility for anything. They still depend on their mom for like money and for them to do things for them that a grown man should be able to do,
right?
Like their laundry or to pay their bills.
Yeah.
And this is like a all the time thing. It's not like, oh, I had a bad situation.
Yeah.
And I need my mom or my parents to help me out this moment. No, this is like weekly thing. They're asking their mom for money and things like that. And I think that another one is when their mom makes like unrealistic or disruptive demands for their time, and they're okay with it. They don't say, hey mom, I'm doing this right now, or I have plans. I'll do it later, or I'll help you out later. They just stop whatever is going on and jump and go to their mom. And that's another side.
Shantoy, what are some of the signs you experience?
Well, one is a mother who is, like you say, overly consumed with what her son is doing. So she knows all about the relationship dynamic. She could tell you word for word your conversation, what you said to him that she disagreed with. So I've seen that occur where moms are very just enmeshed, just too connected and to aware of what's happening. She knows everything. She knows about, your personal business, things that you've told her son in secret. And he's like, oh, I won't tell anyone. But then mom knows. So you invited over her house and she brings up a subject close to what you and him discuss. Mm-hmm. So that is, to me, is concerning. Still living in mom's home in the basement, that's very concerning for me. Now I understand that people have, shortcomings in financial, especially with what we had happen in 2020. Things can happen. You can lose your job and you may have to move back with your parents. That's understandable. But when you say, hey, I'm going to always live with my mom, then that's concerning. That's concerning. Because what about you being independent? Right. So, and also I've seen situations where the mom gets upset when her son purchases, things and items for the girlfriend. So she gets jealous. So she's like, well, you bought her flowers. What about me? Yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah. I'm going to read some of the warning signs. But to piggyback off of what you said, it's like, okay, we're gonna get into the mama part real quick. But let me read this real quick. She shows up unannounced. Mm-hmm. She does everything for everything. She still does everything for him. The best. Let me see. She calls all the time. Mm-hmm. She doesn't think you're good enough. Like if you're dating, she doesn't think the person that he's dating is never.
Nobody will ever be good enough.
Nobody. He guilt trips him. And it actually worked. He can't stand up for his girlfriend. He doesn't defend his girlfriend. He consults with her before doing anything. She's his emergency contact. He's the first person he calls for news. For any news, he compares you to her. Mm-hmm. Lord,
that's a big one.
Yeah.
Let me say,
he's like, my mama cooked for me, right? This and this. My mama does this and this, and you're like, I'm not her.
Exactly.
Like, so those are some. In my opinion, I'm like, so you got your mama doing all this stuff. Or somebody said, or your wife, yes, or your wife, yes. So it was like, if you're doing all this stuff for your mama, you might as well be with your mama. Be with your mama again. That's how I feel. Like, I'm not gonna be bothered with it. Be with your mama. Do things with your mama. And like, I go into the extreme. I was like, well, if you want to meet all the demands and you want to do everything for your mom, then you can go sleep with your mom if that's what you want to do too. Like, I know that's thing, but I said it. I'm sorry. all my elder, but that's how I'm feeling. Like, some of these mamas, they get out of hand, and also the mothers. We're gonna talk about the mothers. They're too extreme. They call the shots. They make them feel, sometimes they degrade them and make them feel, oh, you gonna do that for her. You ain't gonna do that for me. Like you said before. Oh, you don't spend time with me like you used to. And I'm like, you got a whole wife or a whole girlfriend. I've seen grown men that have wives.
Yeah.
Stop everything that they doing. Go see about their mama. I said, well, I be. Mm-hmm. Before I do it, I'm like, well, you want to go live with your mama now. Because that ain't gonna work. But it's a lot of men, a lot of men that are like that, and it could be, and I know this situation, it could stem from childhood wanting their mother's love too. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Where it's a situation where the mother really didn't give them that nurturing side, kind of like you, well, the particular person I'm talking about in particular, the abandonment, like you go out and you do whatever else with everybody else, but what about your kids? So it's like, now you're trying to validate and try to prove yourself to your mother because you want your mother's love. And I think that's another reason why a lot of these men, they flock to their mother. I mean, not every man, but my experience of what I saw, what I've seen, a lot of men, they flock to their mothers, you know, because they want love from their mothers.
Right.
And yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's how it is. Yeah, that's how it is. And so what are some of some of the things you think that the mother, what they're going psychologically, what do you think they're going through in their head as far as dealing with sons? Oh, my baby, my son, that's my son. No, that's my son. He don't do no wrong. He ain't cheat on you, you're lying. My son ain't did it. What do you think of these heavily extreme, over the top mothers? Anybody can go.
Well, I guess I think about it. Me, I am a mother who's raising a young Black prince, right?
Yes.
And so it is easy to try to be a helicopter parent. So you're hovering around them all the time because you don't want to be hurt. But then I have to sometimes take a step back and say, okay, but I have to allow him to be a child. I have to allow him to be able to explore his environment and connect with people, because there will be a time that I won't be there or be connected. And I don't want him to have that type of unhealthy connection with me. Yeah. So I think sometimes we think that we're trying to help and we're protecting, but we got to know that there needs to be kind of like some balance in that area, because we can do it. I know I can do it sometimes. Sometimes I have to take a step back and not be too protected over him, and help him learn to problem solve. Like Damon said, learn how to problem solve on his own. Because if I have him to believe that I'm going to always be there to protect him, to solve his problem for him, then he's not going to be able to use the skills that he has to be able to do that on his own. So I think sometimes as a mother, that's not the intention. Mm-hmm. We want to protect our children, groom them as best that we can, but sometimes it's due to us just that protective fact, like you said, just over nurturing sometimes. Yeah. Especially when the father's not present. Yeah. And that makes a big difference too. So we feel like we have to over love, over indulge, over help, because we feel guilty that the parent is absent. Yeah. I think sometimes that's because I want to take up for mothers that who do engage in it, because I think that sometimes is the idea behind it, that I want my son to be better than his father. Yeah. Because he didn't have the positive male role model in his life. So I'm gonna make sure that he's different. Yeah. But I think sometimes when we get too heavily involved in that, then we don't have the balance that we need.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I think a lot of parents forget how resilient kids are, and so especially single mothers, again, that guilt comes in. Yeah, and they feel like they have to overdo everything. Yeah, and these kids are so resilient. Yeah, they'll be able to work through some of these things, and not need mom to be helicoptering and being overprotective. But also I think some moms feel that, especially if they're single moms, they feel like this is the man I have in my life. Yeah. And they overdo that too. They stay too close to their sons. They do too much with them. Mm-hmm. And then finding their own things to do for themselves, like going out and having friends and trying to find love again. For example, they get their feelings hurt in a relationship, and they feel like, well, at least I can control my son. My son is going to be the perfect example of what I want in a man. Mm-hmm. So I know I can trust my son and be around him. Mm-hmm. And that's just a toxic relationship, and they don't realize that. They turn in their sons into boyfriend. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And without even thinking about it. I know they're not looking at them in any kind of way like that. Yeah. But it's just like, I want company. I want somebody to hang out with me. I want somebody to take me out. Well, I'll just call my son. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I trust him to be there for me.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about getting my feelings hurt or having to deal with any of the relationship things.
Yeah.
Because I molded my son
Yeah.
to be the man he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of women get caught up in that.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone said in the comments, is it him being a mama's boy, or is it due to him having the lack of manhood?
Damien need to speak on that one.
Man.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it up there.
And the thing is like Shantoya said before, it's about balance. Because as I hate this word, toxic masculinity. There's some behaviors that men engage in that's not positive. Like I learned how to be a man by watching the behaviors of a lot of men that I didn't want nothing to be like. I knew what I wasn't going to do. I knew what I wasn't going to be. But I still had to get my bumps and bruises through life and learning the hard way. And my mother allowing me to learn the hard way, even when she did know about something, when she allowed me to learn the hard way. So in order to become a man, you have to go through manhood. And you have to, like you said, you can't ride a bike and not fall off the first 2 times you ride. So that as you ride, you get back yourself and dust yourself off, and you go. And the thing is that we fall into the trap of telling our kids, don't cry. That's men don't cry. Or don't show your emotions. Stop being soft. Like I'm guilty of it too, and I know better, but I'm still guilty of it. But it's just I'm having to prepare my sons. Well, they're older now. Prepare them for life outside when I'm not around. Like you said, I'm preparing you for life after me, because I'm not always going to be here. I'm the big bad wolf that's going to hold you down, but I'm not always going to be here. So you got to be able to give it up the way you give it up. So it's the balance. Like you could be a mama's boy, but you still got to learn how to be a man, because mommy's not always going to protect you.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's real good. Someone said some mothers raise their sons to be boyfriends or husbands they never had.
Yes.
And it's exactly. Like, okay, let's play the game with the chicken and the egg. Which came first? The mother's raising the child based on failed relationship, and she's grooming him to be the boyfriend that she wants to have.
Correct.
But is she also preparing him to mistreat the girlfriend that comes after?
Wow.
So you see, you never think of it like that. So who makes a bad man? And it's also based on the men that she allows into her household. Because he sees you bring bad men to the household, that's the only role models that he has. But he's like, I'm not going to allow no woman to treat me the way you treat that man. So I'm going to be extra tough on these women out here. And so it's the chicken and egg conversation again. And it's like, it's tough. And let's say it's tough on women out here, because there's a lot of men that don't have your best interests at heart. And sometimes us men, we don't hold you down the way we're supposed to hold you down. And for a lot of the brothers that are good brothers out there, we would like to apologize for the men that don't do the right thing by you. So at one point, I wasn't a good man. I can't tell you no lie. But I had the experience, and I learned that in order to become a good man.
Right.
Thank you for your honesty. Yeah.
That's all right.
Somebody gonna sit here and expose me, so I gotta tell the truth, right?
Yeah. No, that was good. That was really, really good. Like, no, but a lot of people we don't think about that. That was a good analogy. I was like, oh, like, what teach us in? So yeah, it's just someone also said with our black sons, we try to protect them because how this country treats them, and the protection because unbalanced.
Okay.
I think that's good.
We at war. It's just plain and simple. Yeah. But the bad thing is the people who should be on each other's side is also fighting each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like I always tell people, the enemy is thick outside, but we shouldn't come back home to fight another enemy.
Exactly.
We have to learn to understand each other and talk in a compassionate way where we like, okay, I may not like what you said, but I understand why you said it and what was being said. Yeah. So we have to receive it differently. A lot of men are sensitive. We say tell you no lie like that. And that's a lot of times because they still, mommy protected them and then allowed them to hear the harshness of what was being said.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, not only mommy protected them, also their fathers, because a lot of their fathers don't teach the young men how to be emotional, how to express themselves. They tell them not to be emotional. Don't cry. Don't express yourself. That's a weakness.
Yeah.
And so they never learn how to communicate and express themselves in that type of way when it comes to a relationship. So how would you learn how to, again, it goes back to that, like, how would you learn how to be emotional and vulnerable? Because to be vulnerable in any relationship is a strength. It's hard, right? Because you're putting your full self out there for somebody and you're taking a chance, right? But if you never learn that, especially in your household, to be emotional, to be able to say, this is how I feel and it bothers me, and to have those conversations, you're never going to be able to do that in a relationship. And that goes for women and men, you know?
Right.
Yeah. That's good.
I want to make a point. You know, working with young men, like through Department of Juvenile Justice, I've had some make the comment, well, my mom expect me to be the man of the house. So they're burdened. And we see these young men and they're angry. And then we're trying to figure out why. Well, they have so many responsibilities at home that their mother has placed on it, and they're yet prepared for the role. So their mother saying, you're the man of the house, but he doesn't even understand what that means. So he try to replicate it the best way he can. And then when his mother's not happy, then he's disappointed. And then all that anger, you know, he keeps it within. And so I've had to correct some of the young men that I, you know, meet with. And they say, well, I'm the man in the house. I said, how can you be the man? You're not even old enough to buy cigarettes. Well, that's what my mom told me. I said, well, you know, your mom is saying those things because, you know, and I try to, you know, come up with a way to put the mother in a positive, you know, light. But, you know, I think moms, we do our son disservice by putting on that type of responsibility and trying to put them in a role that they have yet to be groomed for or understand. So I can kind of see about the manhood. Yes, my manhood, I can't speak as a man, but I can see how somebody could say it could be stolen if I haven't had the opportunity to grow into it like I should, because my mom is making these demands on me at a young age. You know, so
but a lot take on those demands even without their mom saying anything. They feel, because I know a lot of kids that they feel that they have to be the man of the house. My dad is not around, so I am the man, right? Even with their mom not telling them anything, it's like they feel like they need to take on that mantle, and they just go off of what they see on TV or what they see in the streets, and they copy that, what they consider manhood to be, when it's not.
Do you guys feel that as boys they turn into men? Do you feel as though in the mindset of a mama's boy, they're that little boy when they were little? They're a grown man, but it's just like it's that little boy inside of them. Like
because there's nothing like mommy's love. And like you said earlier, I forgot which one of y'all ladies said it, so please, I don't want to not give the credit to you.
It's okay.
Hey, it's okay.
You're still chasing that love that you didn't get from your mommy, and you may be chasing it at 30, 40, and 50. You may never get it, but you're still chasing, and so you're still that little boy. So if mommy gives you some recognition and some acceptance, you're grinning inside, and you feel validated for that moment.
Wow. And it's pretty heavy when it goes to that wanting their mother's love and be accepted. You know, a lot of people even at 60, someone say even at 60, you know, it's heavy. You know, the individual that I know is kind of like you kind of like it's like a hamster wheel trying to get this thing. Yeah, come on. all right, I'm gonna do this just to get that. Oh, my mom loves me. Oh,
Yeah.
like a grown man. Like I just that much control. And it kind of like took me back, like, and then for the individual that's in, that's in a relationship or a marriage with these type of men, they're not bad men. They just don't know. They try to figure it out. So that's why this platform is like this. Like we can identify what's what. Like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. So the question is, how can other than setting boundaries, how can people, mom, like not revived or what's the word? I guess heal from because it's childhood trauma, adverse childhood experiences that kind of like equate to being in this position as far as labeled as a mama's boy. So how can we heal from that? How can mama's boys heal from this image or this cycle? How could we help them?
Well, I think what's important is, number one, we have to recognize it as a problem. Because we can't make any corrections unless we know that there's an issue. So long I'm still living, like they say, in the darkness, and I have yet to come to the light.
Yes. Come on.
So yeah, you got to come to the light first. So if I've been in relationship after relationship, and the women are saying, hey, there's a concern about mom. I'm not sure about your connection with your mom, and people are making these type of statements. Then sometimes we got to listen. I think sometimes as adults we feel like we shouldn't be corrected, and I think that's far from the truth. So we need to be corrected. So if I'm hearing the same thing for people I've dated, then I may need to say, wait a minute, maybe there is something here. And so I think that's
common denominator.
Yes. So that's my perspective first. So we got to first acknowledge that there's a problem.
Yeah. What if, okay, let me do a twist. What if they don't think it's a problem? Oh, that's still my mama. Why you getting down on me? That's my mama. And then it's kind of like the wife or the girlfriend, they just like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like what am I supposed to do? When they don't think it's a problem. When you go to them, hey, your mama out of here. She out of order right now. She out of order. Look, she in our relationship. Like I can't, we can't do what we do if mama in the mix. Like what if they don't get it? What if they don't get it?
I hate to be hard with it.
No, come on, bring the thunder then.
No, sometimes you got to cut your losses because it's the triple losses. You don't know that you don't know that you don't know.
Yeah.
And you'll be fighting, but then you head against a brick wall and they won't accept it. So how deep is this? Is it worth it? And like I always like to say, my analogy is, how much shit are you willing to eat?
Yeah.
Before you say, oh, that's enough.
That's the truth, though.
Yeah.
Because if they're not going to see it, they're not going to change.
Yeah.
Right. Because you got to see it. Like Litza said, if you don't see the problem, you're not going to change. You're going to say, oh, you hating on my mom.
Yeah.
My mom. Why you hate on my mother? No, your mother's in our way. She won't allow us to be great. She got to step to the side. She got to be mommy. Sit in the mommy seat. Let me sit in the husband-wife seat.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's how
But I think if they do acknowledge that, okay, mom is the problem, right? Or I need to set boundaries with mom. They also have to develop a sense of self. Like, who am I without being so attached to my mom? Like, who am I without these expectations from my mom, or what I made up in my mind as the expectation? It's like finding that true independence and being like finding out who there is, like almost being reborn and trying to find out who you are all over again as a grown up.
Yeah.
That is so true.
That's good. That's good.
But that's the work they're gonna have to do, because it's almost like they've been going off of the expectations they think or their mom told them
Yeah.
to live by, and it might not even be what they really wanted to do. Like they most likely had a career that their mom wanted them to take,
Yeah.
or to date a certain type of woman that their mom wanted to date, and all these things that they never thought of for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. So you gotta unlearn.
Yeah,
Learn. And that's what life, our parents, they're not perfect. We're not perfect. We just a lot of stuff now because we're in this mental health and this psychology and sociology and all the allergies. We find that like some stuff, I'm gonna have to unlearn that. That's not healthy. That was toxic. Wait a minute. That doesn't go align up with what now that I see the light. Thank God for the light. But I have to unlearn a lot of stuff. I had to unlearn. Even with my daughter, like I can't just say, "Oh, well, it's not a dictatorship." So I give her a clear understanding. Hey, these are the pros and cons. This is if you do this, then this is gonna happen. If you do that, don't come to me and telling me. Don't be proud of me. I gave it to you. Versus no, you're gonna do as I say and that as I do in the end. Peace out.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a whole different ball game. Like I had to unlearn a lot of stuff, even though sometimes I do incorporate the stuff that I've learned from my parents, but it
Naturally.
I mean, not everything is bad.
Yeah.
I think with our generation, I think we have to find a middle ground because I think most of us went the complete opposite, right? And we're like, I'm not spanking my kids ever. I'm not doing this ever. Yeah. And when it's okay, let me find a middle ground. Let me talk to my kids more. Let me try to find out what's going on. But certain things might need a physical punishment or some other type of punishment for what they did. We don't have to go either extreme. And I think that's the thing we have to learn in our generation, like finding that middle ground when it comes to raising kids or just anything that our parents did and taught us to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just finding that balance.
Correct. Yeah. And I agree with Liza, like she said, we have to self-discovery is something that we do daily. We should learn more about who we are. We have to have our own identity outside of what our parents wanted for us. And I think that's what happens sometimes with mama boys. Their identity is still connected with mom. And it's like, wait a minute, but you're no longer in mom's womb. Yeah. You're no longer serious. The separation, the embryo, you become a person. And so you have to make that separation. You have to cut that umbilical cord, the emotional one that is still connected to mom, and say, wait, I can love my mom, but I have to find a different way to love my mom. And she may not agree with it. She may not agree with it. But I have to, like Damien said, I have to stand firm and say, hey, this is how I'm gonna show up as a man. Yeah. I cannot be everything for mom. I cannot feel that emptiness that she may have. And I've seen mama boys who have a man in the house that is married. And they still rely heavily on the son because the son doesn't exercise no, which is a word that we don't like to use.
No.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
Like to use
full sentence.
Yes. No, and no explanation. I'm just saying no. Yeah. So I think that's the issue. Self-discovery. That's something that we should do. And we have to create our own identity, image outside, our family. The family is the foundation. They create that. Our parents create the foundation for us. But then it's up to us to continue to add on to what we have, the structure we have. That's like a house. Most time people move in a house, they're going to do some type of remodeling to it. Most people do. So we have to think about that when it comes to our mind, our body, our spirit. We have to continue to remodel. We have to continue to grow and add and take away. But, the structure is there. Bones are still there. And so, we have to reshape that, like Dame said, I can love my mom and I can be there for her. But she must know that she can't be, my priority. She can't be the only thing that I focus on, the only person I focus on. Especially when you're married. Okay, so I think that's important too.
Yes, because some of these married folks, they mama's boys, it's a trip. I mean, I seen it firsthand. You hear me? I'm like, oh my God, I ain't gonna be able to do that. I be like, I be asking, like, whenever I get up there and start dating again, I'm like, well, now let me look at these signs. What's your relationship with your mom? I'll ask those questions. I ask every question, and people think I'm just whacked out and crazy. My mom was like, I'll just say anything. I do something. I just like, oh my God, like I ask, and I'm like, hey, what's your relationship like with your parents? What's the relationship with your mama, your dad, the dog? What's the relationship like? Because I need to know, because it's just I don't think I'll be able to deal with that.
But it molds your future, your relationship with your parents.
Yes.
As much as we try to get away from it, some people do, or try to model after it, it still affects you regardless.
Yeah.
And so it has such a big part in our lives. So it is an important question to ask.
I ask all up because I need to know. I can't be caught up. I can't. I know what I can't do. I'm gonna be emotionally unavailable, and they just gonna have to dump me. Somebody put in the comment, "Mama need a man." Oh Lord,
that is true.
Yeah, Mama do need a man. Mama need to get like Stella.
Yeah, she need a groove too. Yeah.
Some of these mothers, they need companionship.
Companionship. That's right.
There's nothing wrong with that. You can be 1,000 years old. You still need a companion. You need somebody to be able. I didn't mean to say 1,000, but yeah, like you definitely need. They need a man. They need companionship. They need something to do. Not something to do. I didn't mean to say it like that, but they need somebody.
They need a social life. They need a life outside of their children.
They just haven't healed yet. It's painful. Like we all know, that heartbreak is the worst feeling in the world.
Yes.
Got you up night eating a pound cake, hogging crying that holy soul song.
Pound cake.
and then now you don't put yourself back out there, like you said. Everybody don't want to be vulnerable again. It's tough. Yeah. So she's gonna live vicariously through her son, and he's not gonna break her heart. Yeah. No matter how many cute little pickaninnies come his way, mommy's gonna still be in the front and center.
Oh Lord! It's someone said it's a lot of it's a lot of toxic so-called mama's boys out here that only want control. They want to control everybody and everything. Some have a man and still do it.
Yes.
When you've been hurt, you want to control to make sure you don't get hurt again.
That's right.
Either you're closed off or you are controlling. Because you're trying to control every aspect of the chessboard. But life doesn't allow you to do that.
Yeah.
Sure don't.
They be having men and they be trying to control too.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
A lot of it is anxiety.
They can't control the man.
Say it again.
Anxiety. That's what I want to know. Who wear the pants? Like, if you got that much control and that much clout.
But a lot of it's anxiety. A lot of it is, I don't want my kids to be hurt, so I'm going to control the situation. I don't want my kids to go through what I went through, so I'm going to try to control. Again, our brain naturally, like anxiety is natural, right?
Yeah.
It's a way our brain protects ourselves, right? Our lives. But some people overdo it because they feel like everything is a threat, right? So even these moms might have a husband again or a boyfriend or whoever, they still want to control their son's life and protect them too. So that's why they overdo it and still try to control where you going, who's this girl? Yeah, I want to meet her. All these type of things like that. Yeah, they want that control. Yeah, because of fear.
Yeah, fear. Yeah, and someone said sometimes mothers have the sons. But sometimes mothers have the sons that scare away the the companion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he's with this baby get hurt. So he has to, like you said, step up and be the man of the house to make sure that never happens again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Someone said, I'm not gonna deal with with a man and his mammy. That's what I'm on. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
do that. Like it can be draining, for
It
the
is
individual. Draining because you're trying to keep up with with your man, your companion. But here come mom. It's like, okay, then that's when you get to a point where it's either me or her. Because
yeah.
and that's where the lines are being crossed and drawn. And that's what Daniel said, cut your losses.
Yeah, that's right.
But
that's
the truth, that's the only way.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that's the only way.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah. Oh, someone say it's exhausting. Oh, y'all. Oh, okay. All right then.
Somebody speaking from a spirit. Somebody speaking from a present moment.
Yes. They going in.
Well, I experienced that in the past when I was younger.
See, the problem is you can't change a person like that. So when you try to go in and say, well, I'm gonna change him, and you going in with the wrong type of idea because you can't change a person if they haven't accept, that they play a part in how they mama act and is treated. So and so that's the reason why. Sorry about that, y'all.
That's okay.
You see, you know what? This is a real mother.
Yes.
Oh man,
you seen a real mama?
Yeah.
It don't stop. Being a mom does not stop.
It sure does.
Man, somebody speaking. Oh Lord, they going up the time. They going in on this timeline. But most of the time, them horrible mothers just want what they want. Some of the controlling mom raise controlling daughters.
And thing is, how do we break the cycle? That's what we got to ask ourselves. How can we break the cycle? Because we can't continue to go through this over and over and over again.
Yeah. I mean, and especially if you're living in a household with a controlling mother and you have a son, and you kind of like, you see like observational learning. You see your mother doing that. So when you have a son, I don't have no son, but when you have a son, you kind of like, the daughter sees that, and so when they have one, it's kind of like the cycle, like you said. It's like a repeat, and it's like, oh, that's toxic, that's not healthy, and we're gonna always have that conflict within mamas and boys and women being controlling. And there's some controlling women out there where, versus being mama's boys or not, but that's another stuff.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But I feel though that if the guys never step up and speak up and set boundaries, it's gonna continue on. Because their mom, for the most part, they're older, they're stuck in their ways. If they don't say, Mom, this gotta stop, and set those real clear boundaries, it's gonna continue. He's gonna continue putting up with it.
Someone said, and it is the cause of the end of many marriages, relationships, everything. So just identifying it and stopping the cycle. It's an ongoing thing, but I enjoy every part of it. Y'all dope. Y'all know that or not?
Everybody's dope. Yeah.
I had a great time with y'all today.
I know you all like, y'all like my people, like we the vibe.
I'll be like, cousin, hey, let's do it. We're gonna have to do a part. We're gonna have to do a part 2.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down.
They dropping a whole bunch of stuff in this comment. They going in. Okay. Well, I'm sorry.
It's neat. I think this, and then it's people of color talking about this, you know. So again, I mean, you know, I think that what helps, like, more this is discussed out loud, the more we can deal with and address, and then people start looking at themselves, you know, and say, "Am I a mama boy?
Well, am I the mama?"
Yeah.
Like you said, a healthy form and not going on Maury is beautiful.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just, we're gonna normalize this mental health thing. Like, I'm all for this. So we're gonna do a part 2. I'm gonna check with everybody what dates you guys have available. We're gonna do a part 2 of this. We gotta do a part 2. People, they want somebody say a part 3, a part 2. What is that, please? Yes, please. Let's do it. Part 2.
Thank you.
Come on in. Yes, we're gonna get cracking. Part 2. I'm gonna check with everybody dates and get everything cracking. And come on, cousins. We about to normalize this. Everybody cousins.
That's all right.
Everybody cousins, but no,
I'm the crazy cousin, yo. I'm the big crazy cousin in the background. You're like, oh God. You sure you want to invite Damon?
Yes. I am. Come on, cousin Damon. Let's get it cracking. Yes. But I really, really appreciate this Thank you, everybody that tuned in. Make sure you like, subscribe. Well, how can we reach everybody? Like, as far as I know, I met everybody on Instagram. I inbox everybody, but one at a time, if you can just say, hey, where they can find you as far as your services, where you are, because it's a lot of people in different areas and locations, and you can help. And this is also a platform for you as well to tell what you're doing, where you're at. Let me bring my cousins, my other cousins, you know, so, you know, they can get the help and also normalize mental health and, you know, get everybody on track. So, I mean, it don't matter who go first. Y'all tell me the tea. Give me the tea of where y'all at and, you know, your services, your, you know, if you have a practice, yada, yada, yada. If we can get in contact with you, all that good stuff. No,
we're gonna let Damien go first. Damien go first.
Come on,
oh wow. Well, you can find me Damon Avenger. Oh God, I say at Damon Avenger at Gmail. I'm a social emotional coach. I'm a therapist, but I can't say therapy. I'm doing therapy. I have to say coaching because it's not regulated, and I'm not going to overcharge you. I do things on a sliding scale, but do know I ain't free.
I know that's right.
Hey, you gotta pay bills. Bills.
Listen, I love Black people, but you know, I like bow ties too. So please help me buy bow ties. I'm Damon Avenger on Instagram. Damon Avenger, social emotional coach on Twitter. Damon Avenger on Facebook. My name is my name. That's my brand.
All right.
Yeah.
Who on next?
I can go. I'm on Instagram as well. Holistic, that's with a W. Holistic_counseling is where I can be found. I'm there. I also have a website. All the information is on my Instagram account. So you can go there to find me. Like I said, I have a practice. I'm in Augusta, Georgia. So I do have a physical location, but right now I'm only doing telehealth. Because of the pandemic. So you can, like I said, go on Instagram. You can reach out to me, message me. And like I said, I provide service for South Carolina as well as Georgia. Those are my areas that I practice in.
Okay, cool. Wait, what part of South Carolina? I got people
South Carolina.
In Denmark.
Okay, I know what Denmark is.
First of all, first time going there, I know a side note. I'm sorry, but like it ain't nothing but a small town. I said, you know, city girl, but I love it though. But I'm sorry.
I know what Denmark is. I bet you can find some good cooking there. You're gonna find some good soul.
And everybody was some kin to me. They was like, "Oh, hey, cousin." I was like, "Hey, you from Chicago?" I'm like, "Yeah." How you know that? It ain't nothing but okay.
I love it.
Well, Okay.
I'm in Texas. Okay, so I can service all of Texas.
Texas. Yeah.
And you can find me at shininglightsllc.com and also Shining Lights at LLC, also in Instagram and Facebook. So it's the same everywhere. But if you go on my website or go on my Instagram, you can find all the connections there.
Yeah.
And the same thing with my email is shininglightsllc@gmail.com. So those are the ways you can get in touch with me. Again, I do therapy, only telehealth right now because of COVID.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I ain't trying to get that Rona.
No.
So we're gonna do telehealth and keep it safe.
Yes.
But I provide services for all of Texas, and again, I do it in Spanish and in English. So,
Awesome.
if anybody that speaks Spanish, well, that's my first language. So,
Okay.
So if anybody that speaks Spanish and needs therapy, also, I'm your girl.
Look at that.
Awesome.
I'm proud of y'all. Look at y'all. Come on, cousins. Someone say this is good stuff. Keep me posted. Look, go to Social Work Sunday Tea on the Facebook and the business page. And I got a YouTube channel. Y'all log in and like and subscribe and follow all that. You're gonna find out when the next Mama's Boy Part 2. Y'all log in, like tell everybody, tell your cousin, tell my other cousins to come on in and all that good stuff. You guys were amazing, and I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Like, thank you. Yes, because I'm a stranger. I'm like, getting this, everybody like, hey, would you like to do the show? Well, we cousins now, because
yes,
you can't just let you know.
Thanks for the opportunity.
No.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. But no, send me your information and I can put it on the page. I put y'all pictures and everything on the page, your bio, all that on social media.
Yeah.
So, I need to let everybody know who you are, so you can help and normalize mental health. So thank you. And everybody make sure well, I'm not doing it next week because it's Valentine's Day. I'm gonna probably spend time with my mom and them. So yeah. So
Yeah, your mama and them.
Don't be doing that to me.
And them. I said mama and them.
I'm gonna talk after this now. Don't give me no.
I ain't gonna call you out, sis. I ain't gonna call you out.
Okay. But y'all tune in. Y'all be on the lookout for announcements, everything from Social Work Sunday Tea. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. We're logging off now. So I love you guys. And you guys
everybody have a good one.
And School Bowl Sunday. All right. See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye.